Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten, Ricky from Sleepaway Camp. But if you think this show sucks, then eat shit and live, asshole.
All right, welcome to the final installment of our Sleepaway Camp retrospective. In this one, we are going to cover Return to Sleepaway Camp and a little bit of Sleepaway Camp The Survivor, Part 4, if you want to call it that. And there is no better ending to a Sleepaway Camp retrospective than sitting down with Ricky himself, yes, Jonathan Tiersten. Ricky from Sleepaway Camp 1983 and Return to Sleepaway Camp. No, there is no better ending. Jonathan, just want to thank you for joining us for the final installment of our Sleepaway Camp retrospective. How you doing, bro?
Out here in California doing stuff for this zany business again. So, yeah, I'm supposed to have a couple meetings. I have an audition in Arizona coming up, so.
Cool. Sounds good. So, obviously, this summer came back and, Sleepaway Camp fever is back, and we decided to do a little retrospective thing, and I believe you got to hear a little bit of it.
I did. I listened. Well, and you guys know far more about the series than I do because I've never seen 2, 3, or 4.
Really?
Really?
I was actually going to get to that. You've you never even... Now tell me, how do you go that, that's your whole thing besides the music, and when you go to these conventions and people, millions of questions, how is it you never were curious to even know what they did after your movie?
Yeah, wow. What a question. I don't know. I think if you asked me, in 5-year segments, I think I would give you different answers every time.
Yeah.
I think at one point I was angry because I wasn't asked to be in the first sequels, right. And I didn't really understand why, and that's when I was still in the business, and then, and then I quit the business for quite some time, and so it never really occurred to me at that point. I didn't really watch Sleepaway Camp 1 either for probably 15 years, and then I started doing the conventions. Frankly, people just don't ask me about the other ones that often. I think they ask Felissa more because her character was played by someone else. So for me, it was almost as if they just didn't exist.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I mean, they had nothing to do with the first one as far as I could tell from what people say. So. Right.
Why is it that you never watched the first one for 15 years? Did you not like it? Like, was it not a good experience, or you thought?
No, it was a fantastic experience. For me, there was a whole period of where it was very hard for me to be known for just one thing because I was trying so hard to do something else.
Right.
And I think that's why I kind of had to separate myself from it when I was trying to establish myself as a musician and a singer-songwriter. And, I think for years, and I don't feel that way now at all, but for years I think I was frustrated because no matter what I did, that's what I was known for.
Right. Yeah, like, it's weird because there's a lot of people that have, they did one movie and then they did 30 other movies, but people only remember what they did on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4. You know what I mean?
Right. No, and I totally understand that. I think I did feel that way for a number of years. I've really learned to embrace Sleepaway Camp, especially with this second go-round in the business, because what it really did was, help me to get back into the business, pretty easily. And that's, not something people can usually do after they leave something for 20 years. And so, I have to be grateful to the film for that. And now, that I go back and watch the film and stuff, I liked Ricky. That was a really happy period in my life. And I liked, that kid. I loved the experience. So I think now I'm a little more nostalgic and grateful about it. And I think, anyone who knows me knows that I'll get on to, I'll start asking the person I'm talking to about their life, and we'll get on another subject before you know it. And I think anybody who's met me at the convention knows that, I'm not going to be standoffish, but I'll talk to you about anything. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, me and you were in the bar talking for 2 hours. I mean, and I don't think we talked about Sleepaway Camp once.
No, that's because I was too busy missing my Q&A. You know.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I love all the all the theorizing and stuff that goes on. I think one of the things that I noticed, and I was just staying at my friend Ron Oliver's house. He's a director, and in fact he wrote and directed Prom Night 2 and 3. You know, the what is it, Goodbye Mary Lou or whatever series part.
Yeah.
And he, Ron is very funny about it. But I said, here's what's really weird about the Sleepaway Camp thing is I said, now, 30 years later, the legitimate reviews are coming in. And
right.
So what you get is you get these guys who are really good writers talking about Sleepaway Camp and really dissecting it.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny. I think it's great. I mean, if it's well written, I don't care. Write about whatever, They're not writing about the crying game.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's what we do on the show. Like when we did that retrospective that you heard, as you could tell, we were getting nerdy about it. And, was Angela staring at Judy because she was attracted to her,
I caught that whole part. I like that.
Yeah.
I was like, because I had never thought about it. I'm like, I don't know. What was she?
Yeah. I thought it was just that typical blank stare, and then all of a sudden I watched it again for the show, and I was like, I wonder what she's actually, what's going through her mind there. But it's a movie, but whatever.
Well, Felissa Rose is a great actress. I mean, and even with just that blank stare, she emoted a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hooks to the film.
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well. Now, you liked Ricky. Now, I just want to know, did that Yankee shirt, did Ricky pick that out, or did Jonathan pick that out?
Ricky, in fact, Ricky didn't even pick it out. The Yankee shirt was picked out by the wardrobe people, and I had real issues with it because I'm a Mets fan, and my brother Michael, my older brother Michael, was a Yankees fan, and so he took great pride in the fact that I was wearing, and he gave me terrible ribbing about it too. But I was wearing a Yankees shirt. Robert Hiltzik is a huge Yankees fan. In fact, when we filmed Return, we were watching the World Series. I remember, but I was like, I can't believe you're going to make. I was more upset about that than a cowboy hat, And but the short shorts, I'm not going to lie to you, those were mine. I went to the first audition with those short shorts and that Tequila Sunrise shirt on.
Really?
I kid you not.
All right, just tell me Chino's shirt, that cutoff shirt, was not his, though.
No. Nor did I ever cut the sleeves off of any of my shirts, which if you could see my arms, you would know why. But the short shorts, I've always been very proud of my legs.
Well,
I had no issues there.
Yeah, no, you did an excellent job. It's funny, like when I watch this, I have to think of other things, for the show and stuff. And one thing that came to mind, what did your parents think about like all the language and stuff? Like, did they care? Were they like, honey, our family's gonna see this and things like that?
My family thought the same thing. They'll probably hear this someday, but they thought the same thing they thought about pretty much everything else I did. They didn't really care. It was. The fact that I did a movie it just didn't really mean very much to them. It still doesn't,
Wow.
That's just the way things are in my family, and that it had that, completely twisted ending. I never heard anything from my parents about that.
Really?
At all. Nothing, yeah.
They weren't like, why are you in such a sick movie? Did you read the script? They didn't say nothing.
Nothing. In fact, I had a conversation with my mom recently, because I had just done The Perfect House, and then I did another movie called Redemption, and now I just got booked for a movie called The Fallen One, and I'm a mass murderer in one, I'm a child predator in the second, and I'm a coke addicted biker in the third. And I think
Wow.
that's the first time that she ever was like, why can't you just play somebody nice? I was like,
at 40 years old.
Yeah, I was like, Ricky was nice. You didn't care about Ricky. What's the difference?
Right.
But no, they never said the word boo, and so the ending to me was like, I don't know why. I still think back on this. It didn't surprise me. nothing. I just was like, oh, that's a little weird.
Wow.
And I think I was one of the only ones who had the original script.
One of the stories that Angela told us is that the kid who was there naked, he had to get totally wasted on a bottle of Jack, and then I heard the story of the two kids who were smoking pot under the dock. They actually were, and they were high during that scene.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, and then I hear everyone's totally like just getting bombed, drinking the whole time. Now, you were pretty young. Were you able to sneak a few beers or no?
I snuck a ton of beers. Are you kidding? And cigarettes too. Yeah, I was. I had one of the PAs stay with me, and he was supposed to be like my babysitter. He did a very poor job. I had plenty. I had plenty of beers. In fact, the director of photography came up to me at one point and said, "You're supposed to be 14. You can't show up here with bags under your eyes." I was like, sorry. But yeah, so there was a lot of beer drinking going on. I wouldn't drink, the days that I was shooting. You couldn't do that. But,
Right.
But it's not like we were showing up on, for shooting drunk. But yeah, there was, we were just being kids. Melissa wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
She was there with her mom. It was just the rest of us idiots.
Hey, no problem with that.
Yeah, and it was funny, though, because there was sort of that little high school dynamic, too, though, where, like, Tom Vandell and John Dunn, the two guys you're talking about, they kind of separated themselves from me, and it was a little frustrating, because they really weren't very much older, but they were like, it was like being in high school or camp all over again, where they were like the big kids, and I was just a little punk. And so, yeah, we were, we got along okay, but you could tell that there was like, they were the cool kids because they were tall and big.
Yeah, you should have been like, well, I'm the star, asshole, so have fun being tall.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I did kind of feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I guess we all have our moments, right? And what was the other thing you mentioned? I forgot. There was one other. There was the smoking pot. What was the other one?
Drinking beer and, just the kid who got naked had a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that shocked me.
Right.
They had to shave him because he was a really hairy guy, and he was completely regretting doing this.
Right.
And so they plied him with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and the kid was just weeping, like something out of a Greek tragedy. And I, of course, was laughing so hard my sides hurt.
Were you there during that shoot?
I was the only actor allowed on that shot.
Wow.
And he had to wear the Felissa mask.
Yeah, that must have looked weird in real life, right?
That mask was staring at me every time I went into the makeup room. It's very strange. I think they have two of them. Because when they did my where I get beat up, and it's funny because it doesn't read that much on screen, but I had 4 hours of makeup for them to put the latex on my face, and they shoved all these things up my nose to make it look all busted.
Right.
If they had waited a few years, they wouldn't have to do any of that. But and then I had to have the capsules in my mouth, the spit, the blood.
Right.
When he goes, he's alive.
Yeah. You also said you didn't watch Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now, here's why I'm pretty curious, because I was going to ask you what you thought of Return to Sleepaway Camp, but did you see the finished product even once?
Nope.
No? And why is that now?
I was in a pretty crummy place emotionally when we shot it, and so I wasn't happy with my performance, and so I just didn't want to see it, and I never have. And now that I'm, legitimately, with both barrels, back in the business, I don't have a problem watching the stuff I'm doing now because I know I'm, doing it with the right intensity and concentration and all of those things. So, Return was it holds no allure for me.
No sentimental.
No, I just know my performance. I know, and I haven't seen it, but I know it wasn't good. So, I'm like, I'd rather watch something I feel like I did a good job in.
Right.
I don't like watching myself, in general
Mm-hmm.
on screen. I find that to be very difficult. I'd much prefer to listen to myself play music than watch myself act. But acting is something that I've gotten back into, and it was what I was trained for in college. So I'm taking it as seriously as I take my music. So I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some deeper psychological reasons for why I don't watch Return. But I'd have to go to a therapist to find out.
And you don't really care that much, right?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'd rather figure out how to get my 6-year-old to stop complaining about going to day camp. And he's the coolest. He's the coolest kid ever. He's going to be way cooler than Ricky.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. But one thing, when I talked to Felissa Rose, she said, "Are you going to ask him? I know you know what's coming."
Sex. What were you going to ask me? I'm sorry.
Okay, so you and Felissa, 20 years after Sleepaway Camp wraps up, you and Felissa meet up again, and sparks start flying.
Yep.
And you're like, how about, we dated for 2 days on set. Now we're older now, and you're single, I'm single, so.
It was inevitable. I think it was an itch that needed to be scratched with the two of us. And,
right.
I think in general, two actors trying to be in a real relationship is a disaster. She is an amazing lady, a fantastic mom, great wife, and she's my best friend. And so again, I think everything ended up the way it should have ended up, and that really worked out well for both of us. I think it helped us, and we give each other a lot of emotional support.
Wow, you're best friends, so you talk like every week or every 2 weeks or every month at least?
No, we talk way more than that.
Wow.
Yeah, we talk several times a month.
That's great.
We go to these conventions more often than not as a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're sort of like Abbott and Costello. We're just because we crack each other up, and she's so funny. Oh my God, dude, you have no idea. She could do stand-up if she wanted to. She is hysterically funny, self-abasing. She's very comfortable in her own skin.
Yeah. When we aired the interview, the most feedback we got is everyone said what a great sense of humor she had.
Oh, she is. Yeah, she's one of the funniest people I know. And anybody who can make you laugh is a good friend to have.
Yes, and she said that she claims that you said to her that she scares you.
Always, yeah. She's just. I think what I see in Felissa is a lot of myself. She's very intense and emotional, and
right.
I didn't need two of me. One was enough. My God,
Yeah, you need some yin yang going on, right?
Yeah, my wife and I are, we have many things in common philosophically, but she believes that, you don't say anything unless you really have something to say, whereas I'm, constantly like, Robin Williams meets Steve McQueen or something. But, because I go from like I can't shut up to I'll shut up for days, because I like being by myself too.
Yep.
But whereas my wife is far more consistent than I am, and so that's a nice balance, and she's also much smarter than I am, and much more beautiful. So it's a pretty good balance.
Yep, sounds awesome.
Yeah, and I always laugh because you see Sleepaway Camp, and I always tell people that if Ricky is like, you cocksuckers, you pricks, et cetera, and I said in real life, if you see us, it's like the opposite. I'm the one who's clamming up, and she's the one yelling.
Right. Yeah, and she's all quiet in the movie. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's funny, man.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing better than a stunningly beautiful woman who is not afraid of looking silly.
Yeah.
And she's got that in spades.
Yeah. So, are you guys gonna do any package deals? I know Monster Mania is coming up again.
Well, the next one that she and I are doing is Spooky Empire in Florida.
Okay.
And that's I was trying to do Days of the Dead with her, which is coming up next week, I think, or 2 weeks, but it just didn't work out schedule-wise. But then we're doing Spooky Empire in Florida, and that's going to be a big one. Because I think they're bringing in Aunt Martha and some other people too.
Yeah, there was a lot of talks about Sleepaway Camp reunion because you got Aunt Martha back. Now, would you still be willing to do the reunion if Robert Hiltzik gets it going?
Yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Of course I would. And plus it's an excuse to hang out with Melissa. I mean, what's better than that? And I'm good friends with her husband too. So
Oh yeah, the guy in CKY, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever talk about like maybe getting together in a movie again that has nothing to do with Sleepaway Camp?
We did do that in The Perfect House. We're just not in scenes together.
Oh, okay.
We're both in the movie. You can rent it on Facebook.
Yeah?
They're doing a limited Facebook release where you can rent it for $3, but that's before they roll out the DVD. But I think it's a great way to watch it. That's how I saw it. I saw it in the theater a couple times too. But even my wife saw it and said she said I cannot watch that again. And I was like, why? And she's like, you do things that you do when we're fighting. And she said that was really hard. But Felissa plays a mom whose kids are getting slaughtered. It's a series of 3 vignettes, and Felissa's amazing. One of the reviewers said she looks like she's channeling Sigourney Weaver from Alien.
Wow.
But yeah, I recommend it highly.
Okay, yeah, guys, check that out on Facebook.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's really dark.
Yeah, I might just rent that tonight.
It's so much fun, I'm telling you, especially if you have that thing where you can plug it into your TV.
Yep.
It's not 1080, it's 720, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's still good. That's cool. Now, what about 10 Tiers? Now, that's, once you cut through all this, I was Ricky, blah, blah. Your real thing is this band, 10 Tiers, which is obviously your name backwards.
Right. It's fine. Well, I mean, I always tell people I didn't choose music. Music chose me. And
right.
I started playing professionally right after college in Manhattan during that whole period when Blues Traveler and Spin Doctors were there.
Okay.
And Joan Osborne. And it was, it was an amazing time. It was, as soon as I started performing, I was like, gosh, this is it. But then, the reality was pretty darn harsh, a lot of jobs I didn't like just so I could continue to play. A lot of experiences with a bunch of guys in a van. I'll never forget driving a U-Haul that had no air conditioning on the 405 in California. The radio DJ comes on and says, the current temperature is, oh hell, it's 50,000 degrees out there. I had my head on the dashboard and I just was like, no. And, but throughout that, I studied really hard. I became a better songwriter and better singer. And now in the movies that I've done of late, I've added to the soundtracks. And I even did, I did a score for a short film with David Krumholtz from Numbers. And, I'm working on writing some TV theme music for my friend Sean Crouch, who is working on currently 3 TV series. So it seems like, it's nice because they work together, and especially with what's going on in the music business right now where, nobody's making money selling albums. So
no, because it's all downloaded.
Exactly. And so with, the real new angle, and it works perfectly for me, is to, get your music on movies and television.
Right, and that way you get paid just from that, and you don't need to sell to people at that point.
Exactly, and for me, then what ideally would be to be able to perform.
Right.
I love it. I love performing.
Yeah. Now, how many CDs have you made altogether, like full studio CDs?
6 or 7, I can't remember.
Okay.
There's at least there's at least 4 of them up on iTunes. I know that.
Okay.
But you can go to jonathantiersten.com or, you can go to SoundCloud. I mean, I'm everywhere. Amazon, anywhere you can buy or download music, you can find my stuff.
Cool. And if people just, want to check you out and see what it's all about, what would you say maybe is your best 2 or 3 songs, your favorites?
There's a new one that everybody seems to like a lot, which is called Vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think people go pretty goo gaga over that. Some of the older songs, there's one called Walk on Water that people like a lot. And what else? Let's see. Oh, and then from the album called Don's Club Tavern, there's a song called How to Love You. That's kind of a cool rocker with, kind of heartfelt lyrics. People say I'm somewhere between, Van Morrison, Jeff Buckley, Neil Young. It's, in that area. But, but I'll write whatever, because I wrote the theme song for The Perfect House, and that had to be sort of, more like a metal tune.
Yeah. How did you feel about The Perfect House, and what was the other movie that you did after that?
I did Redemption after that, which hasn't come out yet. The Perfect House was an amazing experience, really fantastic, and Felissa got me the role.
Oh,
and and it was so awesome, and I got to play a killer, and he's kind of like this really sadistic guy who keeps people locked in cages in his basement, but he keeps this one girl for 5 years because she's his muse, and he's trying to perfect his craft.
Wow.
It's just the banter between the girl and my character, John Dozy, is so hysterical and yet twisted and sick at the same time. And it was, to get my first big role back and have it be like that was just what a gift. And,
right.
And John Dozy is, I've had many people say John Dozy scares the shit out of them.
Right.
I've already signed on to do a prequel. So.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to release it on DVD October 1st. It's when it's going to hit Netflix and all those places. Well, and then Redemption was the one I shot with George Loros from The Sopranos. He played Buffalo Ray Curto, the head of the mafia family, the Manhattan mafia family, the tall guy with the glasses. And so that was really awesome, and I got to act opposite him, which was totally great. So, and that'll come out next year. Yeah.
That's great, dude. Like, when you weren't acting for all that time, like, for a living, did you do music? Did that pay the bills, or did you have to do that and something else? Or?
Well, from time to time it paid the bills, and then sometimes it didn't. And so then I would have to, get a job, and then for a while I even owned a bar for
cool.
2 years. Yeah, and we had live music there. We had David Gray's first American performance. We had Dishwalla. We had a lot of people play there. But it was David Gray who was like, that was when I said, I can't do this anymore. And David came to, play. He was fantastic. And then he and I sat up sharing a bottle of scotch till about 5 in the morning. And he said, you can't do this bullshit anymore. He said, you're a musician. Go be a musician.
Right.
And I said, okay. So I sold the bar and, went back to poverty. For a number of years. Yeah.
It all worked out, and now you're back in the acting business. You're doing the conventions, and I know that's got to be a great supplement for your income.
Oh, I am the luckiest freaking guy in the world. That's how I look at it. Because this is insane. I don't know how this all happened, but I'm so happy. And and I signed on to do that new movie, The Fallen One. I'm auditioning for a movie called 41A, which you can look up on Facebook. That's in Arizona. I'm supposed to be talking to Scott Spiegel coming up here soon, and I'm going to have a meeting with Eli Roth. So yeah, not too upset.
Yeah, there's a lot of resurgence of like people who were in movies in the 80s and maybe kind of just did just one or two or whatever, and then all of a sudden they're being used for a lot of work in Rob Zombie movies, Eli Roth movies, Adam Green movies. There's like a whole thing.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, thank God for those guys, right?
Yeah.
Because it's their nostalgia. I mean, it's my friend Brian Whitten, who I grew up with. It's one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. He did the Chernobyl Diaries, and he and I have been talking via email, and he said, I'm actively looking for something for you. We've even talked about producing stuff together. So.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for talking to us. I know I took a lot of your time. It's been more than I even asked. So thank you for hanging with us during this retrospective.
Hey, it's absolutely my pleasure, guys. It's great. And I got my best friend out of it. And, I mean, what more could I ask for?
No, nothing at all.
Nothing.
All right, dude. Well, looking forward to seeing you at another convention and your movie, or all your movies, actually. Looking forward to every one of them.
Yeah, they can just go to jonathantiersten.com to get, updates. I try and get my webmaster updates as often as I can, but I'm not always so good about it. But, my email's on there. You can get to me on Facebook. I respond to everybody. I think you guys know that. So.
Cool. Thanks, man. Yep, so everybody check out the Perfect House on Facebook. You can rent it or check it out on Netflix when it comes out. And check out 10 Tears, Jonathan's band, and all the songs we mentioned. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot, and good talking to you. Maybe I'll see you again, and we'll get drunk again with Felissa this time in a bar.
That sounds like a plan.
All right, stay tuned as Mike and Dan join me for our Return to Sleepaway Camp full review. Here's a cut from Jonathan's new EP, We'll See. This is Vertigo.
You know the way.
We'll be back in a minute.
And try not to listen to what I have to say. 'Cause my recollection, well, it isn't so good. From takeoff to touchdown, I wish that I could. Which way is up? Soon you might hit the ground, and the water that spills from your cup won't tell you which way's down. 'Cause I'm in vertigo, lost in vertigo, spinning in vertigo, and it won't tell you which way is down.
Wow, that song it's an emotional roller coaster for my heartstrings.
Yeah, it really is a good... Oh, Christ, I forgot to ask Jonathan if he got laid when he was filming Sleepaway Camp.
I wonder if, you know what, I would think either Meg or Judy. Actually, you know what, I would go with Judy. I think she was probably fair game during the shooting of that film.
All right, well, are we really going to do Sleepaway Camp, The Survivor?
Yeah, I guess we got to start with that.
How about you start with it and end it?
Yeah, let's do that.
See if you can wrap it up real quick. Go ahead.
It's a really, really poorly put together film that uses the production footage from the 1992 film Sleepaway Camp for The Survivor, which was on the survival kit box set. Alex, I believe you have it. And he took the footage from 1, 2, and 3 from a shitty VHS copy and basically made a best of 1, 2, and 3 that's kind of like intertwined with this new footage to kind of make a new movie about this amnesiac who doesn't know who she is, but we're supposed to believe that she is Angela.
All right, I'm already bored to tears.
Yeah, it's not very good. The footage, like I said, was taken from a really bad VHS. Do not be like me and spend $23 with, that shipping included to buy this film. Do not do it.
Wait, just for that movie you spent that?
I did, yeah.
Oh my God, Mike. Okay, continue.
You paid $23 so some guy could...
I know it was over 20, I know that.
So someone can splice 4 minutes.
Actually, it might have been $20. I think it was 5 minutes. In all fairness, it was 5 minutes of actual production footage.
Okay, 5 minutes spliced into 3 movies you already owned.
Yeah, and the movie itself was an hour and 10 minutes, and it was actually like an hour and 4 minutes because 6 minutes was the end credits went for like a crawl, and that took like 5 minutes, and then the opening of the movie was the actual end of part 3, so that took another 5 minutes off.
Okay.
So the rest was like the best.
Okay, you're giving me a headache.
You don't like it, huh?
I don't want to hear about this. All right, let's move on to Return to Sleepaway Camp. Now, this movie was filmed what year? 2003, I believe?
2003, yeah.
And it was released 2008.
Eight.
And the reason for this is because they wanted to do CGI, And
yeah, Mickey's head in the Mickey's face after the deep fryer incident in the kitchen.
yeah.
Why would you be worrying about CGI when you got like a lead actor like that kid was? Like, you got other problems. Like, dude,
You're all mean to me.
that kid was the
Your
worst
ass
actor
stinks.
I've ever seen in my entire life, period.
He was the most annoying lead character I've... Dude, okay.
I wanted to get him for the show, but you guys said no.
No, I don't want to talk to him. All right. Let's just say that, okay, the fact is, even Felissa said the movie did not do well. Now, did the movie not do well because Alan was just so mind-numbingly annoying? Or did it not do well because I think one problem this movie had is that it struggled with being made in the 2000s and trying to come off as an 80s movie.
Right.
Well, you know what it was? You know what? I hate to say this, but it was a poorly executed reimagining of the original Sleepaway Camp with the roles reversed. Instead of a shy teenage girl that wasn't really vocal, this bullied, chunky male who just wasn't likable because he wasn't quiet. He just
Annoying.
How about the comebacks in this movie, though? Let's just get right to that. Like, the little zingers everybody's throwing, it's the most generic, ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. Like, who comes up with this shit? Sits around and like, oh yeah, that's a funny fucking line. Like, that's a good joke. Like,
Yeah.
I wanna know, dude, because it's shit like this that makes me want to fucking just grab a camera and be like, dude, come on. Like, even I can do this better, and I've never even touched a camera before.
Yeah, like, what did they think? Everybody'd run around in T-shirts that says your ass stinks or something?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like that's a perfect example. Like, what was that, dude? I mean, I kind of get what they're going for, but dude, like, it was like a lame comedy, like with kills in it.
Yeah.
Dude, like it wasn't even that funny though. It was
No,
like
yeah, it wasn't funny.
no, there were highlights to this, and I mean, when I when I say highlights, it was all comedy shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the fat black girl with all her lines, dude. I was dying. Like, that was some of the funniest shit in the movie, but everything else was just lame, dude. Like, dude, almost to the point where I was like, I can't believe these motherfuckers are making me watch this shit.
Well, yeah, we had to finish this off. I mean, it wouldn't be a...
If it didn't have that ending, I mean, dude, you could not pay me to watch this. And like I said, the only reason I watched this at the beginning is for, obvious reasons, which we'll probably get to later.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it wasn't funny. Now, they went to be funny with a couple things. Right off the bat, the kids were lighting their farts. That wasn't funny. It was 20 years too late.
Yep. Yeah, like, that's your opening, dude. Like, that's your opening to your movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's kind of like we know where this is going.
And, dude, I don't want to get on here and, like, sitting back on people's movies, dude, but at the same time, it's like, come on, dude. Like, it seems like, and like Felissa said, she had a great time on this flick. It seems like a bunch of people that got together probably had a fucking amazing time, was laughing at it at the same time they were doing it because they realized it was ridiculous. But at the same time, it's like, dude, this is what you put out to the general public. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Come on. We can do better than this, America.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
As I'm watching it, I didn't really know who their target audience was. I'm not sure it was Sleepaway Camp fans. I'm not sure it was people that would watch in a theater. I don't know who was supposed to watch this. But here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I didn't hate this movie. My first viewing, I liked it. The second viewing, which was the next day because I was showing somebody else, I didn't like it anymore. Then, when I thought about the movie before we did this retrospective, and I literally was dreading sitting down and watching this. And when I watched it, I'll be perfectly honest, I was 44 minutes in, and I liked it. I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I was like, gee, I guess it's not that bad. It moves at a pretty good pace. It's not the worst thing I ever saw. I'm sort of into this. Now, I was 4 beers deep. That might have had something.
No wonder. No wonder.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it definitely was. And I'm going to tell you what, I felt cheated with this movie as a Sleepaway Camp fan because when I bought it, you get the case and it says, Felissa Rose and Jonathan Tiersten's name on the cover. I knew, from reading about it that they were involved. Okay, and what's this? I mean, look, obviously a spoiler here, but Felissa Rose is that cop, Officer Jerry or whatever, with the voice box.
You guys, I really like being here. I want to tell you about smoking.
Yeah, that I could have done without. I mean, I didn't realize that it was Felissa, and I think that was a downfall because I don't think she was in the movie nearly enough as herself. That's number one. Number two, they say Jonathan Tiersten is going to be in it, and you just see him like 44 minutes, 45 minutes in at a construction
site. He's like, hey, what's
site.
up, guys? Somebody called me? It's like, what?
Yeah. And then
Somebody
tell
called
me how weird. And then tell me how weird this is, okay? At the end of the movie, like at the climax, he just shows up at Camp Manabee. From like nowhere. He just shows up. Where the fuck did you come from, dude?
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, somebody called me, hi. He comes in with his Slim Shady haircut. I'm not ragging on him, but
Oh, the Slim Shady, yeah, he has a blonde hair. Yeah, he shows up and he goes, yeah, I came here just to prove it's not me. And he's like, we don't think it's you, Ricky. Bullshit! You know, I thought he was going to start going, cocksuckers, pricks!
He said the sheriff called. He's like, you called me with that, you know, remember he was like, the sheriff called me here? Wasn't that it?
Yeah, something like that.
I honestly felt bad for him because it's like, look, he's not, I don't think he was being used, I don't think either of them were being used to their potential in this movie.
No.
It's just like Halloween 2, dude. You get Jamie Lee Curtis back, and what do you do with her? You lay her in a bed for 2 hours? Like, what the hell is this?
1 hour and 33 minutes, but that's beside the point.
Oh, God, you're annoying.
But the whole thing that I don't get is the way that I think it should have gone was, don't think that Vincent Pastore from the Sopranos should have been the camp owner. I think the way they should have done it was Ronnie should have come back in the role of, you know, that Mel played in the original camp owner. And then Ricky should have been the Ronnie character.
Well, that would be sad. No, you know what? Come on. That's like ridiculousness, though, because you got to think, what, because Ricky went to camp as a kid, he's so into it that he wants to run one now and, like, work there and stuff. Like, it's just, dude, even having Ronnie there was ridiculous.
That would have been more plausible than just throwing him in there, like, just to use the name. Just to use, you know, just for the character's sake. They throw him in there. It was like an afterthought, almost.
Yeah, it's like Ronnie's back, and then you sit there, and just when you wonder why, like, a 60-year-old man still works at a camp, you find out that he's a junior partner. At 60, still a junior partner.
Yeah.
Like, I guess life really never worked out for you, eh, Ron?
Right. Hey, are you guys Sopranos fans, or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting into them, yeah.
Well, because his name on the thing is Big Pussy. And
Big Pussy,
that's his name. And I like how the kids are, get away from me, you big pussy. I noticed that line. That was pretty good. We'll throw it there. But.
Just to get back to Ricky's scenes real quick, though, like, I don't know. When I was watching it, it just struck me as sad. I mean, he was like the lead in the original movie. I think he got like a total of 4 minutes of screen time. And they did the same botch-up job with Angelo, just like Mike said. What the hell, dude? And, you know, we just heard the interview with Ricky, and he said he didn't think he was a very good actor in this movie because his head was just too messed up from personal problems. Do you agree? I mean, I think the first scene was a tad off, but the acting, when he came back to the camp at night, that was off.
It was off, dude, but I didn't even notice it because everybody else's acting was fucking worse.
Right. No, he was the bright spot among, you know, a sea of problems. I mean, because Vincent Pastore as the manager was out of place, and I think Ronnie, for his part, was just, he didn't even, to me, seem like he wanted to be there. Like, he was just playing the character, you know, maybe it's like a favor. I don't even think he really was into it. It didn't seem like it. The only person that I felt was into the performance was Felissa. Well, I'm gonna, yeah, look, you may disagree, but I'm gonna tell you, I think that one that was really, I think, all there, and, you know, giving her all. The other ones, I think, just could care less.
I think they gave their all, Mike, but they just sucked, so that was their all, unfortunately, dude. Like Mike, you know, you're a director or an aspiring director. Like, you know, with all these.
No, I've made 30 some odd films, sir. So yeah, I've worked with.
So you're an aspiring director.
He presses record.
So you've worked with actors before and stuff like that. Now,
yeah.
Are you completely amazed with all their performances in every scene? I mean, let's just fucking come down right to it. You know, they're not professionals or whatever.
Can I be honest? Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I think that I've worked with people that have done a better job than the majority of the cast in Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Jim Hyde Jr. All right, real quick though. You know how, Dan, me and you always get a real kick out of like the poor man's actor?
Yeah.
Okay. The lead girl, a poor man's Reese Witherspoon.
Oh yeah, ooh, good one, dude.
And then
wait, which one is that? Karen?
Karen.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah, I didn't dig her too much. I liked Pete, the female, the counselor. I liked her.
But check this out. TC, a poor man's Ryan Felipe.
What, dude?
Isn't that weird? And they're married. I wonder if they meant to put the two poor man version of those people in the movie.
You know what, dude?
Wait, they're not married, though, are they?
Yeah, I don't know if they still are. I know they were.
Who cares? Anyway.
I think it's Reese Witherspoon and Ryan. I think his name is
Ryan Philippe.
No, it's actually Philippe.
Whichever. Yeah, they're not married.
Yeah, like that girl, she had a nice rack, but a total butterface.
I liked her brunette friend, dude. I thought she was even more good looking. You know, like her.
Who's that?
I don't know, dude. I don't even know if she had a name in this.
I gotta ask you guys a question.
Yes.
Do you think you would have enjoyed this movie more so if there was a nudity factor to it?
No.
It depends who's getting nude.
Alex is like, "What you got?"
Yeah, what do you got? What do you got for me?
No.
What do you think about what if you would have seen that one counselor? I forget his name, but he sounded like he was a man from down under, with the barbed wire on his junk. Yes. Now, what if they would have shown that actual kill where you see it separate? You know, get yanked off.
They did. They did, but they didn't do a close up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the dick as it pulled away.
You know what?
I didn't notice that.
I was thinking about the kills in this movie, you guys. A lot of them were like, I don't want to say saw-ish, but they were like traps and stuff like that. It wasn't like just an axe kill or a stick in part 2 or whatever. Like they were pretty intricate traps or whatever you want to call them, you know?
The Mickey kill in the kitchen was just a rehash of the already kill in the kitchen.
No, dude, it's not a rehash. It's a nod. It's a tribute.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, but it's an overly done poor.
Oh, get out of here! Take a walk. Get off.
How about the throwback to the remember the kids in the first movie spying on the chicks? How about the kid in this movie who comes in with all the panties around his head and he's like, "I got 20 of them."
I didn't even notice that.
Come on, that was one of the best parts. It was right before that dude got the stick in his eye.
Yeah, what about that? That was weird.
Poor man's Ryan Felipe.
Yeah. That was another trap, and then you got the kid that got tied up and then pumped full of gasoline, and then she lit a joint in his mouth.
That kill had to scare you half to death, man. When he's getting the gasoline, he's like, and then he gets like.
Oh, dude, I've had some dangerous times fucking lighting joints over the years. But yeah, what is that kid from though? He's a child actor. What is that? He was driving me crazy. What is that kid from? Like I know you guys.
What's his name? If you can give me his name, I could probably tell you where he's from.
That's all right. What about...
He's like, that's all right.
Yeah, I don't really want to get too involved with that guy. Okay. But the oil death, the boiling oil, that was pretty good, though, man, because... But you know what, though? He could have got out of that. Like, when Angela lifted him and his legs were still, like, level with the floor, he could have just, like, pulled his knees in and let go and dropped to the floor. It would have hurt. But he could have got out of that. He didn't have to get to the point where she's lifting him straight down into the oil. And, but that was... But that was cool how they made like the oil bubble while his head was in it. That was pretty cool.
That was bad.
Well, that's what happens when you put fries in oil.
I really did. I like the kills in this movie.
No, they were good.
Pretty good, yeah.
But you know what? Here's what gets me mad. They waited 5 years to release this because of CGI. Dude, all the stuff that wasn't CGI was great, and all the stuff that was terrible. Like, why couldn't you just have Vincent Pastore's head on top of a dummy, and he's standing behind the dummy, kind of like Kevin Bacon in Friday 1, and then have a rubber body with rats crawling inside of an open stomach. Why not do that? Who the hell cares if it's CGI? Then, the guy, after he brings his head out of the boiling oil, why couldn't that just be a freaking Halloween mask all done up nice with bones and meat and tendons and, like that all fried up? Why the CGI face?
Well, and Alex, more importantly, though, dude, this is supposed to be like, what, a throwback to 80s movies?
Yeah.
All about practical kills. That's the gimmick. That's the thing. That's what people want.
Hatchet does practical kills, and that came out a year before this movie. The original Hatchet came out in 2007. So I think they should have taken a page from Hatchet and just did all practical effects.
Oh, and then even the girl Linda, after the guy gets his penis torn off, she drives, she looks at the barbed wire, sees it, doesn't duck down. But dude, when that barbed wire was wrapped around her face, that was good, and that was normal. Yeah. That was regular makeup. Yeah. It was all good. And dude, didn't she remind you of a Cenobite?
Yeah.
Dude, the kills were so great, though. How about the chick when she comes in and she's like, who's been going through my shit? And she sees all the candy bars. First of all, when you see the killer up in the rafters, dude, I'm sorry. That room was pretty well lit. How could you not see somebody up there? Honestly, who throws a cupcake? And anyway.
She was more, concerned with the candy because obviously she's the bigger girl and she likes her chocolate.
Mike, be the bigger person and don't mention that. Wait, who did they get to play that? Wasn't that Gabourey Sidibe?
It looked like her, but no, it was not.
No? I could have sworn that was her first Emmy nomination.
No, that was Precious.
Oh, Precious.
I like how he was like, you fat fuck. They didn't hold back in this movie with the insults.
But, yeah.
And what's with Alan not changing or not washing at all? He clearly is not a woman in disguise, so he can shower with anybody that he wants to. Why did he not? He just looks like a disgusting pig. I'm sorry.
All right. I want to touch on something here, guys, real quick, because I went to camp for a few years. Now, compared to the other movies, dude, I'd say, unfortunately, this is probably closer to real life than all the other ones, dude. I know people like that kid, unfortunately. There are just people like that, man, and it's horrible. And sometimes you find yourself on one side of the coin where you'll get teased or whatever, or you might be the teasing, whatever. So everybody can relate to that. But dude, I thought that was kind of spot on. That not necessarily the insults and how they said them, but pretty much tonally, it was kind of right on, dude. That's one thing I noticed. I was like, dude, this kind of reminds me of real life. You know what I mean?
It yeah, you're right. But here's the thing. Here's what bothered me about Alan's character, besides the amazingly annoying whole deal with him.
Yeah.
Right as soon as the movie starts, he starts right off like a bully who's really threatening.
Right.
And then instamatically he comes off as the butt of the joke with all the other kids.
He's a pussy who likes frogs and thinks they're his only friend.
He says, that's not my lighter. He goes, I don't care, and he grabs it. And you think the kids are all afraid of him. And then right away, when he lights his fart and it's like a dud and the kids are all laughing at him, he goes, what are you laughing at? He's right away, he's already the butt of the joke. Now, it makes you wonder if he acts like an asshole to people because they picked on him.
Exactly.
Or did they pick on him because he picks on them?
No.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I think it's a defense mechanism, dude. Talking about kids that got bullied, man, that's what you see. They try to be the tough guys. Those are the most defensive kids, dude, that get picked on, and they're just they come off as complete assholes, dude. Because better someone else than them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not some real shit, but yeah, exactly. His whole character though was so stupid, all around, dude.
Yeah.
Just his whole fucking demeanor, how he, like you said, picking on the poor kid with the glasses, dude. He flicks potatoes at him. He started it. The kid who looks like Paul from the Wonder Years. He didn't do anything to him. You know what I mean? He was just sitting there. He's like, he started it. He was like, no, I didn't.
It's just a weird dynamic the interaction with, he's the loser who all the cool kids make fun of, but he's a bully. And yeah, I guess that sort of makes sense, but I don't know, man. It's like a weird. I didn't know why he acted like that, or why they treated him like. Well, you can know why they treated him like that because he looks like he does, he smells like he does, he has no hygiene, he's a loser, and all that stuff. But whatever. But it's just weird because like even in like Christmas Story, like I don't think Flick, Ralphie, and Randy thought like Scott Farkas was a loser that they made fun of. They were just plain scared of the bully at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy was like a joke. I don't know.
Hate meatloaf.
Now, another pot reference, Dan. What did you think of when they made him smoke shit?
I thought it was
wonder what
pretty
that
funny,
tastes
dude.
like.
I'll be honest with you though, the way they were trying to get that kid to smoke it, dude, like same thing. That's what I mean though about this kind of being like close to real life, dude. I've been in situations like that with the fucking stoner kids, and they're trying to get the preppier kids or whatever to smoke weed, and it's like, come on, you pussy, fucking take a real hit and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, like I saw a lot in this fucking movie that I noticed,
Yeah.
like that was, I could remember growing up, dude, and a lot of those things happen. So I mean, props to them on that aspect. They hit all their marks. But that's about it. That's pretty much that's all I gotta say.
Dude, guilty or not, man, when Alan's brother was beating the fuck out of him with that mallet, I felt no pity for that asshole.
No.
Stupid fuck.
You wanted him to die. You wanted him to get beat to death.
Oh god, I loved it, dude.
I hated that character, dude. I hated him.
Oh.
How about when they skin the frog?
Yeah, when they skinned the frog and his reactions. Why did you do that? They're my friends.
A frog.
But you know what's
Give me
weird?
a break.
The whole movie was focused on Alan, and by the end of it, Angela was the killer. So his character really had no resolve or had no closure. Like,
what even happened to him?
He just got hit with a mallet and he lived.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
You know what?
good.
And I got a question for you. Where did Angela even come from to kill people? What was her motivation to even kill people? Why would she come to that camp of all the other camps? I don't get it.
Well, probably because Ronnie's work. And hey, how did she end up at the same camp Ronnie's working at?
Yeah, how does she know that? She's been locked up in an institution, and Ricky's gone to visit her like every 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, you know what they said when she was walking and peeling the shit off her face? She was like, everybody, they don't learn. They still pick on people. They didn't know I was here. So obviously she's now defending. Before, in part 2 and 3, she was the enforcer of morals.
Morals, right.
Yeah, now she's back to the motivation of part 1, where she gets people who pick on her, but now she'll do it for other people.
Right.
She's that invested in people not getting picked on.
And I got that from the script and stuff, dude. But I just it doesn't seem like it seems like they just come up with an excuse for somebody to kill, as opposed to like, a Jason where you explain it once and then you don't have to explain it again. Or if you do explain it again, it's all referencing this one thing. They've kind of jumped around with why Angela kills and why these things go on. So whatever.
Right.
It's just a reason, basically a reason just to make another sequel.
With Angela being locked up and she comes back and she has the same motivation, I think they were like pulling an H2O move and like ignoring part 2 and 3.
Yep.
Right?
I agree.
It was a direct sequel. I mean, dude, they even had those kids running around in those short shorts.
Whenever you make a sequel, though, that's been a long, extended period of time in between them, dude, it's almost like straight to DVD mixed with, like a couple cameos here. Like, it's almost like trying so fucking hard to where, as if it just seems like if they would have done it right, like, this could have been a great movie, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand.
Here's what I'll tell you. You rewrite the jokes, you redo the soundtrack, and you get better actors, and you get a better wardrobe to fit what you're trying to do. You could have some more neutral looking clothes if you want to make it look more 80s or have that feel. Change the lighting a little bit here and there, and this movie goes up 3 notches.
Yeah, but that's a whole different movie. You just change every
and you know what? Beef up
change the script, change the
Jonathan's part.
Do you want to know the effects of smoking? I am not Angela, no matter what you might be thinking.
Yeah.
I am not the killer.
man. I really did. I like how I wasn't surprised because by the time we got to this movie and we already interviewed Felissa, I already knew, well about this movie and stuff like that. But just overall, it sucks. I think that last scene was great, dude.
Oh, okay. Let's get to that at least.
Yeah, let's just jump right to that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
The only time she came out and was Angela for real. I'm sorry. I think, God, I feel so bad because I love her and we just interviewed her. I just think it was a little over the top, the laugh, and I think what she was trying to do was to recreate that face, but make it more realistic by laughing and not just standing there with that, at least have some realism with a laugh.
She really doesn't have the voice to go, So.
Right. No, Jesus. I'm so glad you're getting my point, Mike.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying she doesn't have the voice to go. She can go.
Anyway, the point is that she's trying to recreate something, and it was too forced. And it's not her fault. I don't know what you could have done with that. If somebody tells you to make that face again while laughing like a maniac, I guess that's what it would be like. But then the whole thing where she closed her mouth and looked into the camera at the end, like, what the hell? Again, it's direction, and I like Robert Hiltzik. I love his first movie, and I just I don't know.
It's a shame he couldn't come for kind of like give us his thought process for what he was thinking, because maybe his goal for this movie was different. Maybe it was different on paper, and then when it's executed, it was,
Yeah,
it just turned into the shitstorm that it actually is.
Your ass smells. I mean, come on.
Your ass stinks, yeah.
Your ass stinks. How many times did they throw that in? Dude, it was on paper. It sucked. I'm sorry.
And even the bird saying it, that dude, Vincent Pasteur's bird.
Yeah, were we supposed to laugh at that?
Stinks. Your ass stinks. I don't know.
All right.
The comedy was horrible.
You're given X amount of money, though, guys. Honestly, do you think you could come up with a better movie than this?
Probably not. I could, in real ability, no, I don't think I could. But would I have? If they allowed me to sit down with the script, I would fix that up.
Okay, if you got to write it, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you got to write the script, Alex. I mean, it's hands down, yes, dude. That's why I feel like it's like a comedy, dude, but it's not fucking funny. Almost to the point where it sounds like it's a big inside joke with all the people that made it.
Yeah.
They think it's the funniest thing, which, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's things that, me and my buddies find funny that nobody else in the world would. Do you know what I mean? And It's like, it's just I think it's one of those type of things, so it kind of gets in a pass in that aspect. But as far as like general like consumption and putting this in the same, with part 1, 2, and 3, it's like, get out of here, dude.
Yeah. So besides the movie, there's no what the F moments.
Well, will you guys hang around till the end of the credits and see that scene with Angelo, stopped by the cop and she puts the car down on him and crushes him?
I think I did see it the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
I forgot it now.
That was probably Felissa's only scene of hers that I thought was really good. I wish that there would have been more of those in the film.
All right. Well, okay, would you guys rather have this movie or
no movie, dude?
No movie.
Fuck yeah, no movie.
All
dude,
right.
This goes back to when we were talking to her about remaking it. She was talking about trying to get it going or whatever.
I'd rather have it remade than this movie.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, do it right, dude. And it's hard. Which way do you go? Do you go 80s cheese style? Do you go, relevant movie but throwback to the 80s? Like, there's so many cool ways you could go with it. And to come out with a movie like this is almost just like, oh, fuck,
you know what? I'll tell you what I would think about a remake. And you know what? I'm probably going to get flambéed for this opinion. But if you're going to remake it, I don't think Robert Hiltzik should involved with writing the script. I really don't.
Yeah, I know. I didn't want to.
After watching this again, I don't think he should. I think that you have to get some different in there. You have to get a different point of view because he's going to try to make a movie like it's 1983 again, and that's not going to work.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's the same thing that happened to Rob Zombie's Halloween. Weinstein's wanted to make it the first Halloween. Rob Zombie wanted to make it his. You keep pulling on each direction, it falls flat in the middle. If you don't push to one direction or the other one, there is no direction, and it's pushed on too many sides, and it falls flat.
I think he still made that work, but dude, Halloween should have been two different movies, like two separate movies, like one and two. Yeah,
should have, but it was still good.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think he did a great job, but just going back to like the remakes and stuff, dude. Like, sorry, dude, you can do Sleepaway Camp, but all right, it has a following enough to where a big studio could grab it, which I'm surprised they haven't yet, dude. With all the remakes,
no, they won't.
You think?
Won't.
No.
No, I'm going to tell you this. If this gets remade, here's what I think should happen. Maybe get somebody like have Lionsgate get involved, or even have Anchor Bay get involved, and have them do it. But get somebody else to read the script and direct it. I'm sorry, but like I said,
yeah, it's Dan. This has about as good of a chance as making a big studio remake as Ghoulies, House, Troll. Yeah. How those movies. Name any other like kind of B horror movie that's about the level this is at, and it ain't getting picked up, man.
You don't think so, dude? Eventually,
the Weinsteins won't even. No, dude, the Weinsteins won't even touch this movie.
No, there's no interest in it.
No, that's why the only way you're going to see it is Anchor Bay will do it. I guarantee you, eventually, if it's going to get remade, that's the best shot. I think that's the best shot.
They put out crap like fucking Chernobyl Diaries, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, next show we'll try to cover things we've missed. Well, I guess that's about it. I guess everybody got our general consensus here. No need for ratings, gentlemen, right?
This movie sucked.
Yeah, I don't think we should have to go with the rating on this one because it's going to be low. So why even bother?
I found it mildly enjoyable this time around, but I cannot say I recommend it because I'm not sure anybody else will find it enjoyable. So that's that. All right. Well, there you go. So, all right, we'll tune in on June 13th, and we have another special Friday the 13th show for you. We got a couple interviews coming your way. We're not going to sit there and talk about all the 12 movies again, but we will talk to the people in the movie. Yeah. So, for Mike and Dan, this was your Sleepaway Camp retrospective. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't ask us to do another one for a real fucking long time.
Yeah. We're back to regular shows now.
We're back to regular bullshit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jonathan Tiersten, Ricky from Sleepaway Camp. But if you think this show sucks, then eat shit and live, asshole.
All right, welcome to the final installment of our Sleepaway Camp retrospective. In this one, we are going to cover Return to Sleepaway Camp and a little bit of Sleepaway Camp The Survivor, Part 4, if you want to call it that. And there is no better ending to a Sleepaway Camp retrospective than sitting down with Ricky himself, yes, Jonathan Tiersten. Ricky from Sleepaway Camp 1983 and Return to Sleepaway Camp. No, there is no better ending. Jonathan, just want to thank you for joining us for the final installment of our Sleepaway Camp retrospective. How you doing, bro?
Out here in California doing stuff for this zany business again. So, yeah, I'm supposed to have a couple meetings. I have an audition in Arizona coming up, so. Cool.
Sounds good. So, obviously, this summer came back and, Sleepaway Camp fever is back, and we decided to do a little retrospective thing, and I believe you got to hear a little bit of it.
I did. Well, and you guys know far more about the series than I do because I've never seen 2, 3, or 4.
Really?
Really?
I was actually going to get to that. You never even... Now tell me, how do you go that, that's your whole thing besides the music, and when you go to these conventions and people, millions of questions, how is it you never were curious to even know what they did after your movie?
Yeah, wow. What a question. I don't know. I think if you asked me, in 5-year segments, I think I would give you different answers every time.
Yeah.
I think at one point I was angry. Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't asked to be in the first sequels, right. And I didn't really understand why, and that's when I was still in the business, and then, and then I quit the business for quite some time, and so it never really occurred to me at that point. I didn't really watch Sleepaway Camp 1 either for probably 15 years, and then I started doing the conventions. Frankly, people just don't ask me apart.
Yeah.
And he, Ron is very funny about it, but I said, here's what's really weird about the Sleepaway Camp thing is I said, now, 30 years later, the legitimate reviews are coming in. And right. So what you get is you get these guys who are really good writers talking about Sleepaway Camp and really dissecting it.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny. I think it's great. I mean, if it's well written, I don't care. Write about whatever, They're not writing about the crying game.
Yeah, exactly. You see, that's what we do on the show. Like, when we did that retrospective that you heard, as you could tell, we were getting nerdy about it, and, was Angela staring at Judy because she was attracted to her,
I caught that whole part. I like that.
Yeah.
I was like, because I had never thought about it. I'm like, I don't know. What was she?
Yeah. I thought it was just that typical blank stare, and then all of a sudden I watched it again for the show, and I was like, I wonder what she's actually, what's going through her mind there. But, it's a movie. But, whatever.
Well, Felissa Rose is a great actress. I mean, and even with just that blank stare, she emoted a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the hooks to the film,
Right. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, you liked Ricky. Now, I just want to know, did that Yankee shirt, did Ricky pick that out, or did Jonathan pick that
out? Ricky, in fact, Ricky didn't even pick it out. The Yankee shirt was picked out by the wardrobe people, and I had real issues with it because I'm a Mets fan, and my brother Michael, my older brother Michael, was a Yankees fan, and so he took great pride in the fact that I was wearing, and he gave me terrible ribbing about it too, but I was wearing a Yankees shirt. Robert Hiltz is a huge Yankees fan. In fact, when we filmed Return, we were watching the World Series, I remember, but I was like, I can't believe you're going to make, I was more upset about that than a cowboy hat, And, but the short shorts, I'm not going to lie to you, those were mine. I went to the first audition with those short shorts and that Tequila Sunrise shirt on.
Really?
I kid you not.
All right, just tell me Chino's shirt, that cutoff shirt, was not his, though.
No. Nor did I ever cut the sleeves off of any of my shirts, which if you could see my arms, you would know why. But the short shorts, I've always been very proud of my legs about the other ones that often. I think they asked Felissa more because, her character was played by someone else. So for me, it was almost as if they just didn't exist.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I mean, they had nothing to do with the first one as far as I could tell from what people say, so.
Right. Why is it that you never watched the first one for 15 years? Did you not like it? Like, was it not a good experience, or you thought?
No, it was a fantastic experience. For me, there was a whole period of where it was very hard for me to be known for just one thing because I was trying so hard to do something else.
Right.
And I think that's why I kind of had to separate myself from it when I was trying to establish myself as a musician and a singer-songwriter. And, I think for years, and I don't feel that way now at all, but for years I think I was frustrated because no matter what I did, that's what I was known for.
Right, yeah, like, it's weird because there's a lot of people that have, they did one movie and then they did 30 other movies, but people only remember what they did on Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, you know what I mean?
Right. No, and I totally understand that. I think I did feel that way for a number of years. I've really learned to embrace Sleepaway Camp, especially with this second go-round in the business, because what it really did was, help me to get back into the business, pretty easily. And that's, not something people can usually do after they leave something for 20 years. And so, I have to be grateful to the film for that. And now, that I go back and watch the film and stuff, I liked Ricky. That was a really happy period in my life. And I liked, that kid. I loved the experience. So I think now I'm a little more nostalgic and grateful about it. And I think, anyone who knows me knows that I'll get on to, I'll start asking the person I'm talking to about their life, and we'll get on another subject before you know it. And I think anybody who's met me at the convention knows that, I'm not going to be standoffish, but I'll talk to you about anything. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, me and you were in the bar talking for 2 hours. I mean, and I don't think we talked about Sleepaway Camp once.
No, that's because I was too busy missing my Q&A.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I love all the theorizing and stuff that goes on. I think one of the things that I noticed, and I was just staying at my friend Ron Oliver's house. He's a director, and in fact, he wrote and directed Prom Night 2 and 3. What is it, Goodbye Mary Lou or whatever series.
Well,
I had no issues there.
Yeah, no, you did an excellent job. It's funny, like when I watch this, I have to think of other things, for the show and stuff. And one thing that came to mind, what did your parents think about like all the language and stuff? Like, did they care? Were they like, honey, our family's gonna see this and things like that?
My family thought the same thing. They'll probably hear this someday, but they thought the same thing they thought about pretty much everything else I did. They didn't really care. It was, the fact that I did a movie, it just didn't really mean very much to them. It still doesn't,
Wow.
That's just the way things are in my family, and that it had that, completely twisted ending. I never heard anything from my parents about that.
Really?
At all. Nothing, yeah.
They weren't like, why are you in such a sick movie? Did you read the script? They didn't say nothing.
Nothing. In fact, I had a conversation with my mom recently, because I had just done The Perfect House, and then I did another movie called Redemption, and now I just got booked for a movie called The Fallen One, and I'm a mass murderer in one, I'm a child predator in the second, and I'm a coke addicted biker in the third. And I think
Wow.
that's the first time that she ever was like, why can't you just play somebody nice? I was like,
At 40 years old.
yeah, I was like, Ricky was nice. You didn't care about Ricky? What's the difference?
Right.
But no, they never said the word boo, and so the ending to me was like, I don't know why. I still think back on this. It didn't surprise me. Nothing. I just was like, oh, that's a little weird.
Wow.
And I think I was one of the only ones who had the original script. You know.
One of the stories that Angela told us is that the kid who was there naked, he had to get totally wasted on a bottle of Jack, and then I heard the story of the two kids who were smoking pot under the dock. They actually were, and they were high during that scene.
Yes, they were.
Yeah, and then I hear everyone's totally like just getting bombed, drinking the whole time. Now, you were pretty young. Were you able to sneak a few beers or no?
I snuck a ton of beers. Are you kidding? And cigarettes too. Yeah, I was. I had one of the PAs stay with me, and he was supposed to be like my babysitter. He did a very poor job. I had plenty. I had plenty of beers. In fact, the director of photography came up to me at one point and said, "You're supposed to be 14. You can't show up here with bags under your eyes." I was like, sorry. But yeah, so there was a lot of beer drinking going on. I wouldn't drink, the days that I was shooting. You couldn't do that. But,
Right.
But it's not like we were showing up on for shooting drunk. But yeah, there was we were just being kids. Melissa wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
She was there with her mom. It was just the rest of us idiots.
Hey, no problem with that.
Yeah, and it was funny, though, because there was sort of that little high school dynamic, too, though, where, like, Tom Vandell and John Dunn, the two guys you're talking about, they kind of separated themselves from me, and it was a little frustrating, because they really weren't very much older, but they were like, it was like being in high school or camp all over again, where they were like the big kids, and
Right.
I was just a little punk. And so, yeah, we were, we got along okay. But you could tell that there was they were the cool kids because they were tall and big.
Yeah, you should have been like, well, I'm the star, asshole, so have fun being tall.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I did kind of feel that way.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I guess we all have our moments, right? And what was the other thing you mentioned? I forgot. There was one other. There was the smoking pot. What was the other one?
Drinking beer and, just the kid who got naked had a bottle of Jack Daniels.
Oh, yeah, that shocked me.
Right.
They had to shave him because he was a really hairy guy, and he was completely regretting doing this.
Right.
And so they plied him with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and the kid was just weeping,
really?
like something out of a Greek tragedy. And I, of course, was laughing so hard my sides hurt.
Were you there during that shoot?
I was the only actor allowed on that shot.
Wow.
And he had to wear the Felissa mask.
Yeah, that must have looked weird in real life, right?
That mask was staring at me every time I went into the makeup room. It's very strange. I think they have two of them. Because when they did my where I get beat up, and it's funny because it doesn't read that much on screen, but I had 4 hours of makeup for them to put the latex on my face, and they shoved all these things up my nose.